Hi everyone, it's Lynnea for LDRS Creative, and today we're going to make a quick and easy watercolor card using the Corner Meadow Impression Press plus Foil plates. Now, before I get started, I do want to mention, just like always, that these are not your regular dies. These are press plates that are going to leave an impression using a letterpress platform. You do need to have some kind of specialized letterpress platform to use these dies. So I'm using the Better Press system from Spellbinders in my die cutting machine. But again, I'm not using my regular cutting plates. I'm using the special platform. So I'm going to go ahead and grab both of the dies from this set, the corner floral pattern and then the sentiment as well, and I'll line those up on the grid lines on my Better Press platform. I have an LDRS Creative A2 watercolor panel taped onto the acrylic lid of my platform. I'm going to ink that up with Raven Hybrid ink, run that through, and check this out. All where you see the black image, it's not just sitting on top of the watercolor cardstock, it's actually pressed in, so that ink is sitting in the cardstock and it gives such a beautiful impression. It's really fantastic. Now you could Copic color, you could use pencils or regular watercolors, but I'm going to do one of my favorite watercolor methods, and that is to use Shimmer watercolor powders. There are lots of different brands on the market. If you just search for Shimmer watercolor powders, you'll find a whole bunch of different brands and colors. I'm going to stick to 3 colors for my panel today. Your basic primary colors. I have yellow, red, and green. And I like to start with my yellow because yellow often gets eaten up when you do watercoloring. Yellow is what I like to call my base color. That's the middle color of the rainbow. This is what's going to be mixing with the other 2 colors to create the in-between colors. So I start with yellow, and I'm going to do the majority of, or the most of the watercolor is going to be the yellow. And then I'm going to come in with some blue. I'm sprinkling on some blue powder and then spritzing it with water. I'm using my finger, or you could use a paintbrush if you don't want to get your fingers inky, and just spreading those little watercolor crystal powders around. So right now I have the yellow on there and I dry in between, and now I put the blue on. So I'm going to have yellow, blue, and those 2 colors are going to mix together to create green. Now I'm moving on to my last color, which is red. And this red is very, I don't want to say overwhelming, but it will overwhelm my panel if I use a lot of it. So I'm going to come in sparingly with this red, spritzing my water sparingly. And this is where you're going to see the magic start to happen. Because not only now are we going to have the red, the yellow, and the blue, but I'm going to get mixing, and I'm going to get my orange, my green, and my purple, and I'll have a whole rainbow of color on this Corner Meadow design using just 3 colors of those Shimmer watercolor powders. Now again, you don't have to do this technique. This image would look gorgeous using your regular watercolors, and you could just add little blobs of color, kind of repeat this technique with your regular traditional pan watercolors, add some yellow here and there, then mix in some blue and then some red, and you will get a similar effect. All I did to complete this card was trim this panel down to 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and I added some foam tape and I mounted that onto a black A2 card base, and this card is finished. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'll see you again really soon. Bye!